Hello, good morning. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Sasta?
Yeah, my name is Shaista Aftab.
Shasta. Okay. Good morning, Shasta.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
We're
Good.
good.
How are you? Julia, see you again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've been in business for almost over 18 years, but I've been coming into Ignite, once few classes here and there to see who's coming. And I see you, two of you have been there for the entire duration. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to like join every day.
That's a really good thing to do because I think this is one of the best class beside board that we offer. This is a free one. And I had taken these classes long before I even joined KW. So
Okay,
it's a really
because not a lot of people join yet. I want to ask you a question. Today's
Mhm.
section is with the buyer. Did
Mhm.
you recommend to sign the buyer broker agreement or not?
Always,
Always?
always. I do
Wow.
not work with any unless I have them sign it. And I'll show you today. My presentation is going to be actually I'm combining the Ignite as well as I have this presentation class that I had given. That was a 2-hour class that I have given in past. So I'm going to combine these two. So I'm going to show you guys how you're going to be asking. First of all, how you're going to be showing your value, and then how you're going to be asking people to
No,
sign.
I have a buyer that I help her with writing the contract, but it fell through because she can compete with other offer. But I never signed that one. So should I bring it to next time I see them?
As we had a meeting with our broker Mark, and he now it is required that we must have buyers sign it before we start working with them.
Oh,
So it
is
is
that the
required.
law?
Yeah. That form is required, and it is important for your protection, right? You
So
don't
should
want
I
them.
should I give her in person next time or send by email? Oh,
Okay, so any form that, as an agent, when you are giving a form to somebody, you need to understand what is there in the form itself. And then
right.
you have to explain it to them, right? There are a few terms which are there and they need to understand. A lot of people don't like getting into, in a contract without knowing what is there, right?
Right.
So if they know you and they trust you, they have already seen you how you work, so it will be easy for you to have them sign. Then you say, hey, look, this is a form that we need to sign because this allows me to represent you, and this holds me accountable, right? This once it is more for their benefit as it is for ours, right? Because once we sign it also, we're saying, okay, these are all the things that we're going to be doing you as your agent.
Okay.
Right? So it holds us accountable.
So bring it in person, explain to them, and then like what you say, and then say you sign
send
it.
it to send it to them electronically for signing, but explain to them what it is. You in person through Zoom, but explain the form to them before you send it for signing.
Okay.
And if you do not understand anything, ask Mark.
Okay.
Other agent, as far as
and tell them like this is like required also by my company to represent you and to keep me accountable to represent you.
Right. We'll go over more about it also in the class today.
Nice. Thank you very much. That's all I want to hear. Like very good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll how long you been in business? We'll wait for like 2-3 minutes for other people to come in, and then we'll get started. Because I do have a lot to cover. You're probably going to be here till 10:30 today. I hope that's all right with you guys, because I do want to give you guys a lot of information. It's going to be like hands-on information today. All right. What we'll do, I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to minimize my window here so I can see my screen. All right. So you guys can see my Ignite window right now, correct? Okay,
Yes.
So I'll today the class today is about, up to this point you guys have been learning, right, as far as how to generate leads, how to hold the leads, how to follow up with the leads. Today the class is going to be about how we are going to win these buyers, and what do we have to do in this whole process, right? So there are two kind of buyer leads that you will be getting. I'm going to switch back and forth between my screens. So if you cannot see the other screen, just let me know, okay? One of you should let me know. So I'm switching my screen, which is when we're representing a buyer, there are a few things that we need to, accomplish, right? First thing, whenever you meet, you don't want to start showing them home right away. To have them come in for a buyer consultation like you would do for a listing. Now it is more important than ever. There are a few things then during the buyer consultation that you want to accomplish. One is to show your value. You want to show them what you are capable of. And by showing your value, you will avoid paying any compensation to them. And at the end of it, you're going to be asking them to sign the buyer representation contract. This way, you are sure that they are tied to you. When you're spending your money, time and money, sometimes I do spend money because I do a certain kind of marketing for the buyers. So I'm spending time and money for my buyers. At the end of the day, I want to get paid. And the only way I'm going to be getting paid if they are committed to me, right? I don't want them to go and ask the listing agent to represent them if they think, oh, that's the only way they're going to get in contract for the property. So going back to the kind of leads we have typically two kind of leads. One is a warm lead, one is a cold lead. I'm going to pause here for a second. All these other slides that you are seeing, it's not an Ignite student workbook, but we will send it out to you in the email. I'll send it to Abigail and then she'll email it to you guys. So don't worry about it. You guys can take in screenshots if you want. I'm going to go through it fast. As I said, this was a 2-hour class in itself, which I'm trying to condense within an hour and a half, combining with the Ignite class. So two kind of leads we have. One is a warm lead, one is a cold lead, right? Most of the time we are facing the cold lead. That's a cold lead would be a lead that you would find at an open house, or when you're talking to somebody, you get to know that they want to buy or sell, and then you're having conversation with them. Whether it's a cold lead or a warm lead, we need to make sure that they are, we want to first have, there is a process, right? How you want to get the lead in and make them your buyer. So with the cold lead, I'll discuss in a second. The warm is the easier lead. Warm lead would be a lead that somebody referred it to you, right? So they already have a built-in trust because somebody who they know have referred it to you. That means they already know they're a family member or the past clients, knowing that you have done a good job for them, right? So normally they will contact you first instead of you contacting them, or whoever is referring it to you, you will make a call and ask them to have a phone conversation with them. So the first thing is we need to have either a phone conversation, or when you are at an open house, you need to have a conversation with them, right? So when we are having this conversation with them, what are the things that we need to ask them, the basic things that we need to ask them? So anybody wants to take a shot as far as what are the basic 3 things that we first ask from each contact, whoever we come in contact with?
I think the first thing is there anyone that you work with, like ask if they working with other agent?
No. So let's say you're in an open house, somebody comes in, right? What is the first thing that we do at the open house?
Oh,
We want to get their contact information, right? That's the only way we can follow up with them, right? So typically people who, if you are doing an open house with somebody, they will have a contact information sheet where they're going to write it down, right? This is a lot of people resist putting.
Can I hear you?
you cut off, we can't hear you.
Your camera frozen now. Saya start. We couldn't hear you.
Shaista, you're muted.
Okay,
Okay,
can
there
you
you are.
hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Very
Sorry,
clear.
I don't know why I'm in a different location in my house. I'm in my office. I work upstairs, and I'm having some sort of connection problem here. So, okay, let me start sharing my screen. Okay, so you guys can see my screen, right? It says first contact with buyer.
Yep.
Can you see the screen now? Are you
I
still
can
seeing
see
the
it on my end.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. So you guys can see my second screen, which is the Ignite one.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
2014 wins the buyer.
Okay. All right. So we were discussing right. So the whenever you meet any lead anywhere, the first thing is again we have to get their. And the way I do, if I'm at an open house, a lot of times we don't have enough time right there to get a lot of more information. You would ask them at the open house different question. One of them, if they are working with an agent, if they actually with an agent, then again, you can send them, okay, well, I'll send you the stuff. How long you've been working? Have you put any offer? Are you happy with your agent, right? If they have not signed a buyer representation agreement with their agent, and if they're not happy, then you can still have a conversation with them and ask them to, hey, look, let's have a conversation and see what I can do for you, right? So the next step, whenever you have a warm lead or a cold lead, the way I do, I have a small conversation with them on phone. And I do some prep work before I actually physically meet them. During COVID time, I did a lot of Zoom presentation meeting. So I still to this date, I prefer to meet them in person because I provide a lot of information them as a hard copy, and then I follow up with them and give them a soft copy of that. The report that you build with somebody face to face is you can do that on a Zoom call, right? So always I try. Now I don't ask them to meet me right away when I have right away, let's say at an open house. I want to get a little bit more information, so I always follow up with a phone call. And my phone call, there are a few basic information. If I already don't have their name, phone number, and email, I would first, ask for that. And then the next most important thing that we always need to ask people is if they are pre-approved for a loan, right? Why? For the reason we don't know if they want to buy $1 million home or they want to buy a $2 million home, right? So pre-approved, then we know which range of property we're supposed to be showing to them. So most of the time, people who are coming in the open house, they are first-time home buyers, right? And actually, they don't have any clue. They are not pre-approved. They just looked at property online and they come in for the open house, right? So then our job is to have somebody. We would ask them, if you are not pre-qualified, would you like me to refer you to a lender? Sometimes they have a referral by their friends or whoever, and they have some lender. So you say, look, I can refer it to you to somebody. So at least they can do a pre-qualification. So we know, where you stand respect to the range of the property you'll be able to buy. I highly, highly recommend if you guys don't have a partner lender, you should have at least two. I use Carl Chen in our office. I'm from Santa Clara. I'm in the and we do have Carl over there. He is very good. He would meet with my clients in person, and we do a quick analysis to see where the range where they would be able to buy. And you always want to have any referral you give to any client should be two, because we have no interest in it, right? By we just doing a service to the client by referring them to these other resources that we have. So once you have understand if they are even they're not pre-qualified, they would have done some analysis. Most of the clients are pretty smart these days. They would have gone online, use a mortgage calculator, and figure out, okay, I can probably afford to buy a $1.2 million home. So you would ask them, okay, what the range of the property you are looking for? We need to understand this. We need to know this for the reason because we need to do some prep work for our meeting with them. And these are the few things that we must know, right? One is if they're pre-qualified or not, what price range they're looking for. Then the next most important is which is of interest and which zip code they're looking for, how many bedroom, information about the whole house, right? Not too much details. The reason I'll explain to you in a minute why we need to get that, right? I keep my phone conversation short because I like to have everything in writing from them. So I would tell during my phone conversation that, oh, nice talking to you over the phone. I'm looking forward to meeting you, and say the best thing for us to do so I can go over the whole, as I have listed here, that I like to understand your criteria in detail, and I want to explain to you, right? Why would they come and meet me? They would come and meet me if I'm showing them something more than what the discussion we are having over the phone. So I will tell them, look, I would want to tell you the local market stats as far as our market is shifting. I want to know what's going on in the market right now. You may have heard a lot of noise in the news, but I want to give you information about what our local Bay Area market is, which I cannot do it over the phone, and for which we must meet in person. It may take hour to hour and a half. And let's figure out, you would ask them, what is a good time for them to meet. I typically always have a time set. I typically like to meet them in the office, either Saturday, Sunday morning, or in the evenings hour. You set up your schedule, see, and then kind of like stick to it, because most of these people would be available on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. During weekdays, it's not convenient for them to come in the evening. And then you say, when you are having this presentation with them, we have to do some prep work, right? So we're telling them that we'll explain the current market, and you will tell them that I would like to go over the whole home buying process with you. So this will become a very stress-free process. So you're giving them something, not asking them from something. So I never had any trouble once I explained to them that what I'm going to be discussing with them. They are more than happy to come and get this free consultation from me regarding home buying process. So I'll pause here for a second. Anybody has any questions? No? Okay, so I'll move forward. During my phone conversation, as I said, I would like to have everything in writing. So I have a worksheet. I have a worksheet that I emailed to them in which it has their basic information. And I've asked them during my phone call that I need to prep some comparative market analysis for you. So can you please fill out that form and email it back to me within a day so I can do my homework and prep all this material for you for our meeting. And I'll go over it. This basic information, you can make your own. I have made my own from the one which you have actually in this Ignite workbook, which is on page 197. So if you go to page 197, you'll be able to, let me see if I can find that sheet. Page 197. This is your student workbook. You can see that qualifying buyer, it says buyer lead sheet. So I don't want to send this out because it says buyer's lead sheet, right? I want to send them out with something that says it's buyer consultation or home buying process. So we have to change the word for it, terminology for it. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is a simplified way. I would say buy home buying consultation questions. So it has basic information about, where they are, place of employment. Why would I want to know about place of employment? Because when I'm looking at where they want to buy, they're concerned about how far it is, right? So I need to know. It could be Cupertino, Santa Clara, Sunnyvale. I don't need to know the whole address, but are they working for Apple? Are they working for Google? Who they're working for? So you need to understand where your client is coming from, right? And any other things, right? A lot of my clients, they're not US citizen. They don't have green card. They are on work visa. So I need to know additional information. So I made up mine based on the clients I'm servicing, right? But to get a basic understanding of what your client is, and you can, I just have a basic one which pretty much covers everything, right? And again, you can have mine. You will get what I have it, and you can make up one. It's pretty easy, or you can use the one that we have in the Ignite book. But again, you need to edit it, remove the lead from there. We don't want to give the lead sheet to the buyer. So this has, mine is 2 sheets. One is information about them, and then second sheet is basically information about the home. And ask them if they're coming to talking to me. Typically, they do not have an agent, but I would want to know if they have worked in past with an agent, and why things change, they stop, and then they start again. So what is that? Can you guys still hear me properly?
Sometimes cut.
Yes.
Sometimes it's cutting. Okay. Yeah, just shout out if the connection is not good. I'm gonna see if I can move to a different location in the house. So these are the 2 sheets, information that I want to, I would have in there. Now, I'm going to take a step back here. We had the phone conversation. We told them I'm going to have send that this form that they have to fill out. I always want to follow up, right, with an email after the phone call. So this is the email that I pretty much use, thanking them and reminding them this is our meeting time in the office at this particular time. And then in this email, if this in our phone conversation, if they have said that they don't have a lender and they need they want you to refer them to a lender, then I would have a separate email, not in this email that in which I'm thanking them. I would have a separate email in which I will introduce this client, and you would want to see copy yourself. So you want to be part of that conversation, right? So you would introduce yourself along with that, and then a lot of people don't want, like I have a lot of friends, right? I have people who were referred to me by, and they don't want to share a lot of financial information with their agent, but they're okay to share that with the loan officer, right? So now typically the loan officer will get all that information from them. So this is in this email, this is where I will attach that first time home buyer consultation question. And that sheet is this, a two-page sheet is this one, all right? So we are good up till this point, right? Now, I wanted to ask you guys, by doing this, right, there's certain homework that we have to do, but asking these questions, taking time, sitting down, have we shown our value yet? Right? Doing this compared to just finding somebody at open house and start showing their home, what difference do you see? Do you think that they will have, after having this conversation, that, oh, this person knows what they're doing? They know how to service their client? right? When we're having this conversation, we're building our value, right? We're building our value saying, hey, it is in your best interest to work with me. All right. So, now this was the easy part. Now, how do we prep? What are we going to talk to them about when we have our actual presentation with them, right? So we're now going to start. It takes me almost a couple of hours to do prep, all the things that I have to prep for the meeting. So I start with, in the phone conversation, I ask them for. So I start with doing the comparative market analysis in the price range. If they say, oh, I think we can qualify between 1.2 to 1.5. So I would look, and then we want to buy in Santa Clara. So I would go do comps in Santa Clara. I don't keep it very narrow at this point. I keep it pretty broad, right? So I would look from property from 1.2 to 1.5, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. My job is to show them that, look, this is what the market is. People has this understanding that, oh, we are in a buyer's market. People, you guys, if you guys are showing home and writing offers right now, we are actually not in a buyer's market. Market is still pretty competitive, right? We're getting 4, 5, 6 offers minimum on most properties. So, and buyers coming in, they don't understand that. We still are ending up writing non-contingent offer on the properties, which is where it is very competitive. We're not writing, we're getting counters back for a non-contingent offer. So we have to tell them how competitive the market is. And we do so by showing them the current comps, that how low of inventory we have in each market. And we have to tell them what the list to sell price ratio is. Are you guys all comfortable and have been doing market analysis? I don't know how young you guys are in the business, but if you go to MLS, they have a lot, where we have to do the comps. They do have actually videos where you can watch and see how you have to do these comps. Any questions so far?
I have a question. Where's in the MLS that which one, the video to show how you do the comp?
If you go to MLS, they have, I think they have a tab which says education or university, something like that. If you click on it, it will have all the videos as far as how to do the comps.
Okay.
And if you, the best way to learn when I coach anybody, I actually sit down and I will tell them, okay, this is how we're going to be doing the comp, because there are different ways. There are good ways and there are simple ways and there are better ways, right? If you have somebody, you are in the Santa Clara office, right, Sarah? So you can ask maybe one of the person over there that, hey, can you show me how to do the comps? And we can go ahead and do that. If you want to, I am in the evenings, I have time. During the daytime, I'm running around, but in the evening, if you like to, I can also show you how to do that. All right.
Thank you so much. Yep.
So we're looking at list to sale price ratio. We want to tell them about date of market, because again, date of market, they think, oh, we're going to look at the house, we're going to sit on it. No, the good homes are going within a week still in this market. So we have to tell them if there's a good home, it is on the right area, right location, it is not going to stay for too long. And if I say that, they may not take my word, but if I show them on the comms, then it's black and white, it's right there on the paper, and it tells them, oh, I gotta move fast, right? A lot of people do not know what these comms are, right? What is days on market is, what is list to sale price ratio is, what is square per feet value is. When we are determining the value of a property, we are looking at the likewise property within a certain 1 mile radius of a property. So we have to teach them what this terminology means, right? So this is something what we're gonna be going over during our by consultation with them. This is right now what I'm telling, this is what you have to prep ahead of time before the meeting, okay? When just a side note, when you actually putting an offer, we're not going to do a very broad comps, right? There we want to stay within 1 mile radius of that property. When I do comps, actually, I do comps. Let's say the property is listed in an area. I go on the map, I draw a circle in the area. I stay less than, I pretty much go 0.5 miles. I go wider if there are no comps available. You want to make it as narrow as possible. So that's where you know, okay, it is reflecting that particular area. That is when you're writing the offer, all right? So this is basically we're doing all this work to show our value, right? We're going to prep all this work for our consultation with them. So this is we do the comps. Again, you review the comps and the market analysis. You will do a market snapshot of, let's say if you're doing a Santa Clara, okay, what's happened in the Santa Clara in the past 1 month, right? You will do like a chart of list to sales price ratio. You will, all these, again, this is all you will do. You'll get this. It's very easy to get this data from MLS. And you don't have to do, I do a lot. You don't have to do every single thing, but pick 3 things, right? You can make it simple. A note about the new home search. A lot of people want to buy only new homes. You want to make sure that if you are working in certain area, a lot of new builders are not offering compensation to the agents. So you're not going to get paid at the end of the day. So your existing home and built in the past 5 years instead of going to a completely new build. Okay. We do comps. The next thing that we need to do is do net sheets. Do you guys understand what a net sheet is? So if you don't, then I can go ahead in a little bit more detail as far as how that needs to be done. Anybody knows how to do net sheets or what a net sheet is? Okay, I guess not. So when we are having a transaction, right? There are certain costs associated with the transaction, right? There would be lender fees, there would be real estate related fees. Depending on which county you are in, you'll have to pay title fee, escrow fee, city transfer tax, county transfer tax. So buyers don't have any clue. They don't know what these fees are going to be. So we have to educate them, right? Our job is to tell them upfront, not halfway in the transaction. Oh, you have to pay this cost, you have to pay that cost, and then they don't have the money. They need to put that much money aside. So a net sheet is basically let me see if I can. This is a net sheet. This I use. I told you need to have a partner, a lender as your partner, at least 2 lenders as your partner. The another thing that you need is a title rep as your partner, because they will teach you. They will, this is an app that I use. This is a Chicago agent app. If the cost for it is like, I pay like, I think $12 for the whole year. And I can have it on my phone, I can have it on my computer, and I run this analysis for them based on, again, remember I told you, there's a range 1.2 to 1.5, let's say. So I would run this net sheet for that range of 1.2, 1.5, taking an average interest rate. This will tell them how much, if they're putting 20% down, what is their total monthly payment is going to be. This is an old one, I think, which I picked up now. Right now, it's probably going to be double, right? It's probably going to be 8,000 because the interest rate is going to be high. So once you're giving them, this really opens up their eyes, right? This is how I am providing value to them. So if you do not know how to do the net sheets, this is one thing you need to learn. You need to, if you don't know, you wouldn't really, guide your clients, right? Or offer value to them. So get a hold of a title rep, ask them. There are 3 I pretty much, for Sam, I have a relationship with these people. Can you guys still hear me? Sometimes I get this that my internet connection is not stable. Are you guys still okay? You can still hear me, right?
That's, can you repeat?
Yep.
Can you repeat, we'll get the net sheets, how to educate the buyer?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the app that you're talking about.
Okay, this is a Chicago agent app. You ask somebody in your office who the Chicago agent rep that you guys are using in your particular office, and you just call that person. She will come. They will come. They teach you how to do the net sheet, and they will set you up with the app. So you have to set up an account with the title company.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so account is free. There is no charge for the account. But if you want this app, I pay just like $12 for the whole year. This is the best thing you would be able to do because you want to run, right? You need to know. I don't like wasting time if my client doesn't have the money and they're looking, they want to buy something which is in 1.5 range, but they can only afford to 1.2 range, right? We got to tell them, hard fact that sorry, you can't afford to buy that. You need to have this much in closing cost. And let's say they still want to have a little bit more room and buy up. Then we need to get together with a lender and say, hey, what can we do? Instead of putting down 20%, can they put down 15%, right? So unless I know where my resources are, this is our team, right? Title company is our team. Lender is our team. They are the one who are there to help us bring this transaction to close. And the sooner we do, I don't wait till the end. I do all this thing up front. My transaction is very stress-free because I have done all my stuff in the beginning. All right. So you guys understand where to get how to get hold of the title rep.
Yeah. Thank you. This is very helpful. Very helpful.
I'm going to ask Abigail to, the reps that we have or whoever this, I think you both, Julie, are you also from the Santa Clara office?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we'll ask her to give you guys information about the rep and then you guys can contact them. They'll come and explain to you how to run the net sheets.
Okay, thank you.
So your typical agents don't do that. Even a lot of senior people don't do that, but this is how I show my value. I never have trouble people signing the buyer's contract with me.
Yeah,
they already seeing the amount of.
This is a very good idea. This is a real value. People need.
This is this is a lot of goodies and nuggets that you guys are getting because this is something that I developed over 18 years in business, right? I've been doing this as far as this presentation I used to have, but to this detail, I've been doing it, I would say, for past 4 years. I do it for every single buyer's client. I have a lot of repeat buyers. For them, I should do it also, but they're like, oh, we just trust you. We'll do whatever you say is the kind of thing with them. But they are committed to me, so I'm fine. I take care of it, But it's a good idea to do it with the repeat buyers also, because if they bought 5 years ago and they're buying again, market is still different, right? So we have to educate them. And when you're doing this kind of a work, believe me, I don't do 32 touches to my clients. I probably do like maybe 8 touches during the year. I don't have to ask them to refer me somebody. They just do it automatically. They see the kind of value I put, and then, how knowledgeable I am, what I can do for their clients, and they were naturally, if they're referring without asking, that means they are that much happy with my service. And each one of you can do the same thing. It's just knowing what to give, right? How first give, and then we will get. Okay, so now comes more thing. The first 2 things that we just discussed, those you actually have to do, right? That you have to prep, and it requires time to do so. The list of things I have here from 1 to 6, this you can just print out and have it there. So this is review disclosure doc list, right? When we are putting an offer, there is a bunch of disclosures that we review, and the reports that we have to review. I review before I go show the property. Like properties are very limited. I actually glance through. I have very trained eyes. I've gone to all my inspections, so I actually can walk into a property and I can see, oh, it's going to have this and this, that kind of problem. So I review, I just glance through, not in detail review, and I do a quick comp on these properties which I'm going to go and showing to the buyer. A lot of times they want to see a property and I look at the area, I look at the comps, I look at what problem it has, and I tell them, before we go look at the property, this is the problem it has. Are you guys okay with it? I don't want to waste my time, waste my Saturday, Sunday showing something that they will not be knowing. If their expectation is here, they're not going to be buying a property like that, right? So I do a lot of homework before I even go and show properties. So disclosure is, they don't understand. They when they're coming in first-time home buyers, they don't understand the kind of work we do, right? Reviewing the disclosure package, reviewing the report takes a lot of time. So I will give them a list of all the documents that I will be reviewing for them before putting any offer. And I personally actually do it while I actually go show most of these properties also. If I have a buyer who's looking in the 1.5, 1.7 range, looking at the condition of the property, and you should educate yourself as far as about the reports, right? Termite reports, home inspection report, roof reports. What are the typical kind of problems these have, right? These reports can really scare your buyers, but you have to educate them. Hey, it has termites. Some people, oh, it has termites, I'm not going to buy this property. But you have to tell them, oh, this is very common in the area. It's only going to cost this much amount to fix it. It will be 4 days of process. So you need to understand what the
I have a question regarding that. Can you hear me?
agents will do the reports.
I have a question. Yep. Are you at an agent to give out like this is how much it's gonna cost to prepare it, or you shouldn't say that?
How much is going to cost to prep what? I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
My question is that okay for an agent to tell buyer this is how much it costs to fix that? Is that okay to say that?
No, you don't have the authority to do that, right? If you doing a termite inspection report, it will have a dollar amount there already. The report will have that amount. If it is roof inspection, they will also have the amount how much it's going to cost to fix it. The home inspection report does not have a dollar amount to it. But if you know for sure that, okay, it's going to cost me this, it's going to cost this much to fix it, right? Then you can make a comment that it's estimated wide, it may cost this much, but you don't want to say, oh, actually is going to cost this much, because you don't know what the dollar amount value is going to be for a leaky faucet. But what you can tell them for the home inspection, a lot of, let's say a stove burner is not working, let's say there's something wrong with the refrigerator. You guys understand that all existing home, we ask for the home warranty, and the home warranty does cover a lot of these items. But it has to be, it cannot be a pre-existing item. It has to be a new item after they have moved into the property. So you have to, depending on which area they're looking, most of these properties are older homes, even these are older homes and they have rehabbed homes. They do have minor problems here and there, but you have to educate them that don't miss out on this property because the next property may have the similar problems, right? So, but you got to educate yourself, right? You need to read these reports and understand. All these disclosure packages are already uploaded, right? So that's why I look at these reports before I go show the property. And then at that point, see, I point out, oh, this came in the report. This is what, and let's look at it. They don't read through this. They don't read it until we're ready to put an offer, and then we're all stressed. Oh my God, this is a problem. That is a problem. Should we write? Should we not write? So you see how much value you would show. It's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. In the beginning, it's going to.
Shasta. Before showing a buyer property, if buyer say, oh, I'm interested in this house. So before showing buyer property, how many items I need to prepare for to bring with me?
So before showing, okay, we'll go. We will I'll tell you what you need to do before showing. Let's concentrate, like step back, and we'll go do as far as what we need to prep right now to do our first buyer consultation, right? And then
Yes.
once we're done with that, then I'll tell you when we're doing the showing, what minimum things that you can do. The minimum thing you should do is do a comps. You need to know your area. This is how you're gonna educate yourself. Okay, I am an expert of this area. So what are the comps in that area, right? If a lot of times when they're listing lower than the market value, right?
Yeah.
Two of the properties listed at 1.2, they say, oh, we're going to get this property. No, the property is going to go another 50, 100K more. So, and you need to tell them, right? So that's why you need to know your market, and you need to the comps and say, look, the last one that was sold similar like this was listed at 1.2 and it was sold at 1.3. So you need to have that much room. And this is when we put an offer. If you really like this property, we have to put higher.
And another
so
question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, is like you say comps, but if this house have ADU, another house have without ADU, but I don't know ADU how much cost.
Yeah, so ADU, typically you would ask the listing agent how much when it was built. Most ADUs are, if it is a detached one, typically they're costing, over 100K to build. So it will add on to the value, right? You would call, your job is, let's say, a structure, if it has more than the next one, then you would want to call the listing agent and ask, say, hey, how much did it cost them to have this extra ADU on it? A lot of times the listing agents are actually already listing, oh, this is how much it costs to build it. So then you would add, let's say, cost 100K more, then you're going to add 100K more to the other property, which has similar, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, similar lot size.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sometimes it's not easy to do the comps, but again, you would ask somebody in the office. Especially if you're a new agent, you don't, sometimes me with all my experience, I have to think, what do I do? There is no comp. Sometimes we run into problems when we listing property also, there are no likewise comps in the area, right? So then we have to do the best that we can. And then again, the value of the property is determined by the buyer, right? But
yeah,
the more question you ask the listing agent, and don't wait till the offer due date. If you think your client is liking a property, ask them in the beginning, right? Listing agents get very busy near the time when the offer is due, and they don't want to answer too many questions at that time. But they will do in the initial stage when they list and when they're right after the open house. At that time, they will answer a lot of questions. Showing wise, I typically show the properties in privately. I don't wait till the open house. I show it mornings or evenings privately to my clients, so we can have a conversation when other people are not around. But I tell them go back to the open house, because I want them to understand how much traffic that house has and what competition that they are dealing with. And then I, just have a list of questions that you would want to ask the listing agent, right? Maybe I prepare something like.
So what's the important question to ask a listing agent?
You need to ask them about the property, right? You have to understand what is the seller looking for, right? Beside price, we do the comps. They will say, oh, will you ask them about the price, they say the highest and the best and the non-contingent less things. But you have to dig deeper. You have to ask them, okay, what else are they looking for? How many disclosure packages went out? You need to know what your competition is. How many offers are they anticipating? They say, oh, I don't know right now. It's just open house. But then you will call them morning. Let's say if the offers are due on Tuesday, you'll call Tuesday morning and say, how many people have told you yet that they will be writing an offer on the property, right? So you need to know what your competition and if this property is getting 3 offers, 5 offers, or 10 offers.
Okay.
Right? Because then you're going to structure your offer accordingly. It's winning winning the offer is another class I think is coming in the next week. And this is where you guys will learn, how you're going to win the offers, what special terms you need to have in an offer for you to win that.
I have a question. Do you gonna tell your buyer that you do all of that call to show them that they should appreciate your work?
you are honoring the
Oh, I can hear you.
when I did the comps for that property or one sheet, not the whole thing, and I take it to them and say, hey, look, this is what the comps are. I tell them that what the comps are for that property, yes, because that's how I show my value, that I'm doing all this work for them. All right.
Okay.
So let's go back to the list that you need to prep. Now this list you can just print out, is going to be the same for all the buyers. This is not something that you have to redo every single time. So you will have a list of review disclosure doc list. This is going to look something like this. Let me show you. So this is the list, right? This basically lists all the things that we have to review. So they need to understand how much work we're going to go through when we are before we write an offer for them. County cost guide. What this guide is, I'm going to show you again how they all look like, and then you will get this in the email. So this you guys can just print out and keep it in your file. Let's see, where is my county? So I did not print it out. I don't have it here in my browser right now. But the county cost guide is basically, again, it is a sheet that you can get from the title company and will provide it to you. It tells you what the cost is for real estate, for depending on the county, who pays, does buyer pay for it, does seller pay for it, what are they? So you have to, they don't understand, right? The information from this county cost guide is what goes into your net sheet. So you also need to know, who pays what. And once you select the county on the net sheet on the app, it automatically populated. So if it's paid by the buyer or it's paid by the seller. But this is one sheet that you will also include in your package. Then the next one is how to hold the title, right? You guys, this is a sheet for how to hold the title. This is something the lender does ask the buyer as far as how to hold the title. So sometimes they don't know, nobody tells them, they just ask and they have no clue what are the different way of holding the title is. So this is, you will provide this sheet to them. You're not supposed to tell them how. It is their responsibility to read through it, because there are different incentives for them depending how. If it's a couple, the most common way, you can make a comment saying the most common way for a couple is to hold committee with the right of survivalship. If it's two investors buying, a lot of times they take either joint tenancy in common, or tenancy in partnership, and then you have to see what tax or death benefits are to these people. So you should know what it is, but you should not tell them how they should take it. But this is something also that needs to be part of your package. The third one is the tax guide. Tax guide, again, when the taxes are due, they unfortunately, we all have to pay property taxes. So this is basically gives them installment 2 times per year. And it will tell them when it is due and when it will be delinquent. So it should be part of their package. A sample copy of the purchase contract, and then the copy of the buyer representation. So the 5 and 6 is something, again, you have to highlight few things over there, and I'll go over it when we come to that point. But this is all that you have to prep. So how many total things we have? We have 8 things that we have to prep right now. And we're close to 10 o'clock, so I'm going to start talking fast. I still have a lot to cover. So these things we will have part of our package. Now we have done the prep work. In the purchase contract and in the buyer's representation contract, now the purchase contract is easier. The first 2 pages has all the terms. So you would highlight the terms which are important, right? The section where it has the price, the contingencies, all that you will highlight, and you will go over the first 2 pages with them. when I do this consultation, when I'm going through all this information, typically hour to hour and a half does not allow me enough time to actually go over the purchase. And I'll tell you contract also.
And hear you. Sorry.
We don't hear you. Your voice is breaking up. We missed you.
Side star. We couldn't hear you.
She might have dropped from the call.
Her presentation is so good. It's very good.
Yeah, so it looks like she dropped. She's probably going to rejoin. We'll give her a minute or two to rejoin. Seems to be a common Zoom crash. Shasta, you're muted right now.
Okay, so I have moved to a different location when I'm closer to my router. So hopefully it's going to be better now. Can you guys hear me now better?
Yes, there we go.
So my, we're good, right? As far as, all right, let's go back here. Okay, so where was I? So we were talking about the purchase contract and we were talking about the buyer representation agreement. We have to have a second Zoom meeting for the purchase contract. For the reason it's just not enough time. If you take time at that point, it just takes too long and they're just very overwhelmed with all the information that we're providing to them at that point. I want to go over how we're going to have them sign the purchase contract. Sorry, not the purchase contract, the buyer representation agreement. Okay. So up to this point, we did all our homework. We prepped everything. The next thing that we have to go ahead and do is what we're going to start with when you actually have the presentation, right? Have you guys gone through command and looked at our buyer representation consultation book? I'm trying to find where it is on my browser. So if you go, can you look at my screen? If you go to command and you go to design, under design, we have templates, which has under buyer, it has buyer presentation. This is where you guys can download. There are 4 different formats. Basically the same thing, the format is different. So where you can download, and this is where you will be go ahead. Okay, this is where you're going to be downloading and editing so you can make this presentation, and this is what you're going to be using during the time when you actually have face-to-face conversation with them. Mine is slightly different. I had used a different vendor that we used to have before we had command. One thing I wanted to mention is always add your bio in the beginning and add your testimonies near the end, right? If you are a new agent, you may not have testimonies yet, but write down, have some sort of, if you came from a different field, if you have any kind of testimony, anything that people can say, the kind of work that you have done, added in there. And very important thing going forward, when you are closing deals, every time at the end of the closing, you should ask your client to provide a testimony for you, right? So this is when you're going to keep adding it to this buyer presentation guide. So I'm going to go back to the Ignite session where we have these are the 7 cycles that we have to go through, right? We did the cycle 1, we prepped for the buyer consultation, and now we are going through the actual buyer consultation process. So on the day of, a lot of this you can basically read through. Most of these things which are there in the Ignite, I have already covered through this other section that we just went through. I want to go through, this is where we have your guide to homeownership. This is what you're going to be starting with. You go there, they come in, you sit down, you're going to have this on the screen the way I do it. I do it in the office. I connect my computer to the screen, TV screen, so it is big and there, they can see it. I print out this, I edit. You need to edit, download it, edit it, add. All the information are pretty much in there. You just have to add in your own, your own name, labels, things like that. There are certain things which are in this book, which you should remove if you do not know what they are. Anything you give to anybody, you should be able to explain it to them, right? We have Keller Mortgage in there. If you are not promoting Keller Mortgage, Keller Mortgage is a good product, but for the jumbo rate, what I have discussed with the people who are offering it, the rate is not as competitive, right? So if you don't want that in there, then remove it. Not everything which is there in this book, it should be there if you do not know what it is, right? So this will take you some time to go through it, but this is something that you should prep right now, right? Unless you have that, once you get a buyer, then you're running around or you're stressed, oh, what do? I don't have anything. Because this is your building first step that you're going to have it up there and then you're going to go over it. This this booklet has this table of content. The 2 things that you should have up on the screen as when they come in and you're going to go over it is, one is what their wants and needs are, and the second thing is the home buying process, which is already, everything is written there. You just have to kind of read through it. And I would do practice at home with the spouse, with the friend, or in the office with their agents, that how you're going to be conducting this buyer consultation process. Your need comes first, right? So here in this, we're going to go through this book and we're going to ask them, okay, ask them questions about more detailed question. Now you're going to be asking about the home, the kind of home they like, what kind of exterior they want, what kind of living room they want, what they want in the kitchen. So all this are the questions that you're going to be asking them during this process. I take about, as far as building, remember you have hour to hour and a half to go through it, right? So spend about half an hour going through all this, not too long. A lot of this information we have gathered already during our phone conversation, and we have this information when they fill out the form and return it back to us, right? You build your preference profile. You want to ask them, okay, look, how do you want me to contact you? You need to have go through this, download this book, go through it, and then just emphasize on the one in which how you have to get the information from them and how you are going to go through the home buying process with them. This is again, we're going through their wish list, right? Same thing, what their criteria is. The neighborhood insight part of is what are the comps which are there, which we're going to go over after we are done with this booklet with them. So buyer's got a guide how to home buying works. This is which is important, right? This is where you're going to go through, take some time and explain each step to them. This is what a home buying process is, right? This is why we asked them to come here, because we were going to explain to them what this whole buying process is going to be. It's not just looking at home, putting an offer and that's it. Each week different things happen, right? What I do typically is like I would send them an email each week that, okay, this is what I'm doing. This was going to happen this week. So they know ahead of time what's coming. The second week, okay, this is what's going to happen the second week. Third week, Monday of the third week, okay, this is what's going to happen this week. One thing which I have forgotten, I wanted to bring it out, point it out. With respect to when you get the first lead, remember, learn the command. Command is your friend. This is your CRM system. Once you have this lead, you should first, before we have the phone call and everything, as long as you have the basic information, you should put it under the opportunity, create a contact and put it under the opportunity. So you have it there. And then after this buyer consultation is done, you can go ahead and have your touch planning started for this client. Some people may be ready to buy in 3 months. Some people may take 6 months. Some people take 9 months, right? So you need to have a system in which you can follow up with them. And how that follow-up system works, I think we already had that discussion earlier before this class. Sometimes it is overwhelming. There's a lot to learn. But at the time in the beginning of your career, when you're learning it right now, it is easier than when you have multiple clients and then you're trying to set those system ups and then at that time while you're actually trying to service the client also, right? Once your systems are already in place, it's easier for you to, once you have this book, you do the comms, you've done the net sheet, you can service buyers right and left, right? But if you don't have all these things already ready to go, it's going to be very stressful for you and you won't be able to show your value to the clients. Okay, the buyer's guide affiliated business agreement disclosure. This is, again, only need to be there if you are keeping that Keller mortgage sheet in there. If you're not keeping that, then you're okay. So please go through this. Make sure you only include the sheets in there that you understand yourself. It doesn't matter that it has a lot of pages. It matters that whatever is in there, you are able to explain it to the client. All right. Now, at this point, then what I do is I go ahead and do my comps. I do the comps with them and I explain to them, how the comps are. This is how it is. This is what the average value is. This is how much more they're going from the list price. Then I go ahead and explain their the net sheets to them. And then I go ahead and I go very briefly this is what the closing cost is. If you're looking in similar county, good for you because the seller is the one who's paying for the title and escrow fees. But if you're buying in the Alameda County, actually buyer will have to pay for it and that will add on to your closing costs. They will ask, oh, how much more? And you'll say it based on the price. I have run the net sheet for you, and then you can go over the number with them. Then you will go over all the other sheets, right? How to hold the title. You say, okay, you need to read it. So you understand how the lender is going to ask you how you want to hold the title. Then you're going to go over, the other sheets, which are you going to be including in there. So until you understand what that it is yourself, we won't be able to explain to the client, right? So this is, again, the time for you to do that. Now, so we have provided all this information to them. Now, at this point, we're going to say, okay, there are 2 other forms. At this point, I won't bring up the purchase contract yet. I'm going to go ahead and bring the buyer representation agreement. This is, again, I'm at that on the slide again, add your buyer in the beginning and then add your past clients review at the end. So do you think after going through all this that we have provided to them, they are already seeing, right? They see the value you are there to provide to them. You know your stuff, you know your market, you know what goes through the whole home buying process, and you are there to hold their hand every step of the way. You can ask, you can pause in the middle, say, hey, don't just keep on talking. During this presentation, once you are done with one segment, ask them, do you have any questions? Once you're asking them with all their wants and needs, you be quiet, let them talk, you write down, because you need to have this information when you're trying to find the right property for them. So at this point, we have shown a lot of value to them. We'll go ahead and ask them now. It is the time for us to take out the buyer contract and show to them. Say, hey, look, this is a form which is required by our office, and it is required for us to service you. In order for me to service you as your agent, in order to write offer on your behalf, I am supposed to be, I'm required to have you sign this buyer representation agreement. It is for your protection also, because this holds me accountable for all for what I am supposed to be, services that I'm supposed to be provided to you. I will be held accountable. This allows me to put offers on your behalf, and then you will go over the terms in the contract. A few things I typically highlight. I would highlight a few things which is important, right? How long you gonna be representing them, right? Once you have the initial conversation, you would have an idea if this buyer may take 3 months or 6 months. We would want to do it 3 months in the beginning, because our job is, right, we want a buyer to get in contract within the first 3 months. So do it for the 3 months. I have seen people who do it for like 6 months, and during then it just drags. If the 3 months, let's say you have not found a property within the 3 months, at that point, you probably have written a couple of offers for them. They know how you work. At that time, at the end, before the 3 months end, you can ask them to extend it for another 3 months. When you are out, it has a section which tells, it says, okay, what kind of properties and which area. I typically don't write down Santa Clara, San Jose, whatnot. I write down the whole county. I would say Alameda County or Santa Clara County. So it covers the entire area, right? We just want to make sure that they don't go and sign one contract with you in Santa Clara County and then they go sign another one with somebody else in another area of Santa Clara. So we want to make sure that we cover the whole county. If they have, when we are sitting down at that point, right there, I don't ask them to sign because they have not read through the whole thing. I take a hard copy, I give it to them. I say, look, please take this, take 2 days, couple of days, review this. I'm going to send it to you electronically for signing. If you have any question in between, please let me know. And at that point, I will also set up another appointment, a Zoom appointment with them to go over the purchase contract. Because when we are going through this, it takes easily 1 hour to 1.5 hours, and we do not have enough time to go over the purchase contract. But it gives them some time. Most of my clients, they are tech people. They don't sign anything unless they want to read it. But I have shown my value. I never had trouble having them sign it afterwards. I would remind them, hey, I'm sending it you for electronic signature so we can get started the process. I can start showing you next week. You have any question, can I answer anything? And I send it to them, they sign it, and I'm good. So I'm going to stop here for a second. And we have 15 more minutes to go. Any questions at this point? No? Okay. So another thing that does come up during our conversation with them, when we are
Shasta?
yeah.
Hi.
Hi, this is Neha. So sorry to bother you now. But I don't have a question, but this is a lot and lot of very,
Yeah.
very good information to implement. And so you said that you will share everything with us at the end of the call, right?
Yeah. All these slides that I have skipped a lot of this as you join in, I think later. This was a class by itself for 2 hours, which I had done in past. So and I'm trying to combine Ignite with this. So what we will do, we will send you guys, Abigail will email it to you guys, these slides and everything, all the other stuff, which is that you're supposed to add in this presentation, we'll send all these to you. But again, get hold of a lender, you need to have 2 partner lenders, you need to have a couple of partner title companies, and they're there to help you and provide the information. All right.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. I mean, the lender, we partnered with Chicago Title, so we have gone through the net sheets that you were discussing earlier. We have even gone through prelims with them. I've also seen net sheets on MLS, also buyer net sheet, seller net sheet. So,
yeah, but use the Chicago Title one because it is very presentable compared to the MLS one.
I agree. Yes, absolutely. And even in that, I just want to take a moment to say this, that in the $12 annual membership that you're paying, you get access to a lot of free marketing opportunities other than the net sheet. So that's an add-on.
Right. So that's the reason why the title companies for the new agents, they not just the marketing, they give you a lot of prospecting tools also, right? So that's very important. You need to have like an hour, call up a rep, ask them to come to the office, sit down with them and say, hey, look, I want new clients. I want to have listings. How can you help me? And they will tell you, they will go through a lot of stuff. Any training getting done in your office by a title rep, please go and attend it. It will be very good for you as a new agent because you're going to learn how to get seller leads, listing leads, Okay. This one slide I wanted to, again, this also has to do with how you're going to convince them to sign the buyer's agreement. This is the dialogue, I would say, you start with saying that, oh, my fees. Compensation is another, or credit back to the buyers is another thing that comes up during the conversation while we're talking to the buyers. A lot of people say, hey, give me 1% back because Redfin is doing. So you have to tell them, look, Redfin may be doing, but whenever you have a Redfin agent representing you, they have showing agents. Every time you go look at the property, a different showing agent shows up. They do not know what you want. Not one person has any accountability. You tell them my fees are paid by the seller, but now we are required to have a buyer representation contract signed before we start showing the home. It is for your protection, so we can held accountable for the highest code of ethics. So, this is a script that I'm giving here, right? This is a script you should just internalize, memorize, or, we need to have 1 or 2 sentences for every the problem that we face when we're dealing with the buyers, right? What is our script when they have an objection? What do we say? So when they're saying, oh, we're telling them ahead of time that when they are signing this, basically this is for more of their protection, because this is the only way they will be able to hold us accountable, right, for the highest code of ethics, and then we will be responsible for providing them the best service possible. So this is the script you would use for the buyer agreement. Now going back to the compensation, right? You would say, they say, oh, Redfin agent can give me 1%. So you have to tell them, will the Redfin agent provide you comps every time before they show you the property? Will they educate you about what the problem is in the house every time when you're going and viewing the property? So these are hard conversations, but don't say it. Say it every time you're talking to a client, you have to say it in a very polite manner. Say, look, this is what I do for my clients. This is why my time is valuable. This is why I cannot offer a compensation, because I also have to pay fees at the end of the day, right? I have to pay my fees. I have to put food on the table for my family. So if I give compensation out after doing all this work, it does not make sense for me to be in this business, right? You ask them, would you be paying half of your salary back to your company after doing all the work from, 8 to 5 o'clock every day? So a lot of times my clients, I'm pretty lucky in the sense after I have gone through all this, I have shown my value, right? You guys, I hope you guys agree that after doing all this, they see what kind of value this agent is providing. They don't ask me for any credit back. Now, worse come, they're still insisting. A lot of times you're doing double transaction. You're selling their house. You're buying their house. Then I would offer something to them, and it's up to you. You as an agent need to decide how you want to run your business, right? So you don't want to offer 1% back to them, but you can ask them. You can offer, if it's under million, you can offer them 2,000. Say, oh, I would like to help you. I can give you 2,000 back credit, which you can use for the closing cost. Or you can, if it's a higher 1.5, 1.7, you can give them up to 5K. I do not want you guys to give up anything. But if there is a client who is consistently, you think you're going to lose this client because, they just want this compensation, then it's up to you. Instead of losing the client, you can give them, this 2 to 5K. I don't go over 5K. That's how I am. But and the 5K only to the people who I'm actually listing their property also. All right. So any questions here? So we have few more minutes to go. If you guys don't have any questions, what I will do is I will go ahead and forward all this information to Abigail, and then send a Clara office, and then they will forward it along with the recording of this. And again, apologize that my internet went bad a few times, and we got disconnected.
Shasta, so after this presentation, you will send this PowerPoint to us, right? Sliders.
Yeah, we are. I am sending it to Abigail. I'm going to attach it in the email, and she will send it out to you sometime today.
Okay. Before I let you go, I have one question about if we find a buyer also is seller. So what's your suggestion? Should buyer, buyer also is seller. So which way we need to do first?
Okay, so it all depends. If the seller has funds for the 20% down payment, you would go ahead and buy them the property first. And then once they have moved out from the property, then you would go ahead and sell the property. You want to prep, right? Before you sell the property, you have to prep the property. You have to bring it in a good condition. So doing a transaction, this is one of the hardest transactions, right? Buying and selling simultaneously. It's easy to work with a buyer or easy with work with a seller who only has to do one, right? If the seller is buying locally, it's easier, right? If seller is relocating, sorry, it's not easier because they're buying locally, then that means they're probably going to be living in the property. So and if they have the down payment, that's the easiest way to deal with it. Now, if they don't have the down payment, right? I'm working with a buyer currently. As an agent, I always look out for the best interest of the client. A lot of times, I actually tell my seller not to sell. If they're moving up from a condo to a single family home, and if they have the means to keep that condo and they can rent it out, I tell them not to sell and rent it out. I from the heart, I really want to service my client. I want to make sure I develop long-time relationship. And believe me, although I tell them not to sell and I'm not getting the commission for that, they refer me to 5 other people. So I am getting business because they see that I am looking after for their, right? Now, let's say they just don't have the means. They must sell their home, condo, and they don't have the money for the down payment. Then the only option you have is to sell the property first, right?
Yes.
Then you have, sell the property, then we ask people to do a rent back for 2 months. Now that this does create a little bit of stressful for the seller. So while you are preparing their condo to sell, you don't wait till it is sold. You start showing them property simultaneously, right? So that is going to be a simultaneous process. You show them, but you can get into contract until their condo or self is in a contract, right? So this is where you would really need somebody to hold your hand, experienced listing agent, and guide you through the process. Easier to deal with just the buyer, right? But if you have to, if your time, right, sometimes it happens that they got into contract, you're ready to sell it, but you still have not identified a property. This is the most actually sort of like hard situation, the move up buyer, right? Because they need the fund. So you would do 2 terms that you need to have. You need to ask from the buyer of that property to do a rent back for 2 months. Worst come, let's say within 2 months, you still cannot find the property for them. You need to educate your buyer that worst come worst, they may have to go for rent in between selling their property and buying the next one.
Okay, if they find the property they like, they want to buy, so how they can make offer, but they want to buy this house, they need to sell their house in order to buy the new home.
Right, if they like it, but they cannot put an offer. That's why it is important, as I said, work simultaneously, right? While they say, okay, we want to buy, but we need to sell the house to get the funds. So you have to tell them, look, then we have to first move your property into the market first. Need to prep within a week, have everything ready, put the property on the market.
Yeah, because they don't want to move twice. They want to stay a house for,
Yeah, so you tell them, so if they don't want to move, tell them, look, we're going to ask the buyer to rent back, let you rent back for 2 months. Okay. So they stay in the house. So they stay in the house and they rent their own house from the buyer of their home. So this is as we put in the contract, which we say rent back.
So how can maybe if they find a house they like, can make offer like put a contingency because they want to sell their house? Can do that?
You can put a contingency, but the offer isn't going to get accepted, especially in a competitive market. You could now, if you're looking at if there are properties, even in a hard market right now, the properties who are staying on the market for a long period of time, there you can negotiate. Yeah,
already over 35 days. Same
you can definitely, you can talk to the agent, say, look, my client is very interested, but we have a house to sold. So can I put a contingency, and so they're going to ask you when you're going to put the property on the market, how long is going to take you. She's going to ask you, when are you going to be in contract? So they're not going to give you forever for the contingency, right? Yeah. How long you think the maximum they may give you 15 days for contingency, right? So then you need to be ready to sell their house. You have to educate your client that, look, even if we put a home contingency, they will probably going to give us 15 days. So I need to have your property also on market at the same time while you're looking.
Yeah, I at the beginning I said that, but they don't listen, and now they find a property they're interested, but they have no money, they need to sell their house to buy. This house, so 2.7 million.
Have you talked to a lender? Have you talked to a lender for their qualification yet? Or they're just looking?
They're just looking.
No, no, we don't want like that, okay? Julia, we need to get, ask them, okay, if you want to buy and you have a house to sell, let's sit down with the lender. Ask Carl, he will, he will be able to help you. Say, let's sit down, we need to evaluate, how can you, up to what amount you can qualify for, and, how can we factor in that you own a home? Okay. There are a lot of, Citibank, they have these programs for the move-up buyers, right? So they'll be able to find a solution for you. Ask Carl, he'll be able to find a solution for you. But talk to a lender first before you show the homes, right? The whole presentation today was about we have to educate them and we have to tell them, okay, this is the process we're going to go through. If we're jumping, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be just working with them and nothing will happen.
That's why I have no clue. I say, oh my God, how I can deal with? They don't listen to me, you know?
Yeah. And you know why they're not listening to you? Because you did not have this conversation with them, right? This is what it takes, right? They think they own a home. I don't know how long ago they bought the home, but they're in their mind, even after 4 or 5 years, things change in real estate. How we do things, it changes. So they think, oh, I am a homeowner, I know, but they don't really know, right? Your job is to guide them.
Yeah. A problem. I need someone guide me.
Yeah, yes, but you're in good hands, right? You in our Santa Clara office, we have a lot of good agents, very experienced agents who will be able to guide you. And you, if anything, you just go back to Mark, ask Mark. Mark will be able to help you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. I think we're 1 minute over our time. Thanks for staying for this long duration of class today. But I hope you guys got some good advice.
No, it's
Yeah,
excellent.
I found it very valuable today. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
All right.
Do you mind if I call you if I have some question later regarding the app and stuff like that with title company?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
just give us a day. I'm going to send all this after this meeting to Abigail, and then hopefully I think she sends a recording the next morning. So maybe
Right.
she'll send with the recording, she'll send you guys all this information.
Right.
All right.
Then I will
We
listen
also
to it.
send your slides. This
Yeah, slides also. The one
okay,
that
that's great.
I presented today. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so
All
much.
right. Okay.
Thank you, Shasta. Great
Thank you so
session.
much.
Bye.
All right.
Bye. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day. Thanks
You
so much.
too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.